Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Welcome to this historic occasion. It's not every day we get to preside over the formation of a new town, and I'm very honored to be here this evening to help with this auspicious occasion. My name is Jamie Titcomb. I'm the Executive Director of the Palm Beach County League of Cities, working for all 38 municipalities in the county, and it's my pleasure to help with the proceedings this evening. So without further ado, I would like to start with the official mounting of the stage and presentation of the first council ever for the town, the rural town of Loxahatchee Groves. And for that, you can clap anytime, it's okay. Acting Attorney David Tulsis will do the honors of presenting the incoming first ever elected town council, Loxahatchee Groves, and we would ask those elected folks to come and take their place on the stage for the rest of the proceedings this evening. So with that, David Tulsis, roll call.
Thank you, Jamie. I'll call the roll. Dave Autry. Dave Browning. Marge Herzog. Bill Lauda. And Dennis Lipp. They'll be sworn in momentarily, but this is your inaugural town council for the rural town of Loxahatchee Groves.
We would now ask Troop 105 to come forward and do the presentation of colors. Thank you.
Present colors.
also join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Close college. Color guard dismissed.
Is Ashley Duclair here? Ashley, are you prepared to come sing for us? You have the distinct honor on this historic occasion of hearing the national anthem twice.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we marched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rang high, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the lands of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Now I'd like to invite up the Reverend Dr. Gary Cecil from Palms West Presbyterian to do the invocation.
Would you bow your heads with me? Let's pray together for the invocation. Almighty God, in whom we live and move and have our being, you have plans for us. You have plans for Loxahatchee groves, and you have the power to make them happen. You bring order into our communities and entrust leaders with authority. Grant these, your servants, with the desire and the ability to do your will, to serve the public trust, beyond personal glory or gain, so that your people may know peace and for the well-being of your children. For we pray in the name of the author of life and the giver of peace, the one eternal beneficent Lord. Amen.
At this point in time, we have an agenda prepared for tonight's meeting, and just a matter of procedure, we'd just like to have a motion and a second with respect to the approval of the agenda.
Motion to accept the agenda.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor? The agenda's been approved.
Okay, this is the fun part. It's my distinct honor to be amongst honorable folks who are here to celebrate the historic occasion of the formation of the town of Loxahatchee. I'm going to take the liberty to mix up the protocol a little bit, and you'll see why, because we have very famous, important people here, and some of them are actually going to speak to you and make presentations. So I would like to start by introducing the elected officials and VIPs in the audience, and then save what's typically the higher protocol people for last on the list. So no offense to those who travel long distances to be recognized. With us this evening, and if I would ask you to stand as I announce you, please, so that everyone can see you. We have from Wellington, we have Mayor Tom Wenham. From, the town of Lantana, the mayor and also the incoming president for the Palm Beach County League of Cities, Mayor Dave Stewart. We have council people from the neighboring village of Royal Palm Beach. We have Matty Mattioli's here. And Barbara Eisenberg is here. Dr. Priori from Wellington is not here this evening. I have a letter. I have a letter I will read from him momentarily. Now, press, don't let any of this get out. This will just be from the Loxahatchee Control District, we have Clete Saunier here, the director of that. And we have some of the Loxahatchee Water Control District elected officials here as well.
Yes,
can you please stand and introduce
them? John Ryan.
Thank you so much. We also have elected officials here from the Acreage, the Indian Trail District. We have Mike Erickson, Carol Jacobs, Michelle Damone, and Ralph Baer. I'd like to acknowledge we do have the principal of the school, where this is sort of our first official city hall here for now. So we would like to thank the principal, Rich Meyerson, for Judge Nelson Bailey's here, and you'll hear from him later, but Judge will officiate over the swearing in here shortly. I believe I've got the people that have to be listed, so with that, I'm going to read one quick letter, and then we're going to introduce your county commissioner and your state representative. I'm not as dumb as I look. The town of Loxahatchee grows. This is a brief letter from the Florida League of Cities, which I would just read to you. On behalf of the officers and board of the directors, I want to extend our sincere welcome as the newest member of 412 villages, towns, and cities in the Florida League of Cities in the state of Florida. The League will continue to be available to your town for support and assistance. Unfortunately, I cannot be with you tonight, but I am proud to have a part of your hard-fought success story. I look forward to being with you in August at the Florida League of Cities annual conference, when you will be formally added to the roll of municipalities, which represent the over 9 million residents of the state of Florida. I remain available to your council. Please do not hesitate to call me for any assistance I can provide. Congratulations. Sincerely, Dr. Carmine Priori, who is a council member next door in Wellington and currently serves as the second vice president of the Florida League of Cities. Just a brief note for those of you who are not aware, the Palm Beach County League of Cities, of which Mayor Stewart is our incoming president and I serve as executive director, has granted the new town of Loxahatchee Groves a 2-year automatic full benefit membership, and we stand by to help you in anything you might need. Now, as I said, I put protocol backwards. I'd like to next bring up the state representative who is perhaps singularly responsible for making this happen after a long, tough, hard battle, but she persevered and was tenacious about turning this into a new town and doing what was necessary in a place called Tallahassee, which I just returned from this afternoon with all 20 fingers and toes. I counted them. And she drove all the way down here today as well to honor us with her presence. You flew? Well, I flew too, but I drove. State Representative, your Representative Shelley Vanna.
You actually should be standing for these folks here because, and I see someone in the back who has not been. Please stand. Yes. Our team. This is one of the folks, and I'm sure you'll get to hear a little bit about it, maybe from some of your folks. I don't want to steal their thunder. Who worked also. We were a big team in Tallahassee to make democracy work for us. And it is historic. And it's an honor for me to be here and to recognize that regular people, we're all regular people. I'm an elected regular person. There's an elected regular mayor. But the bottom line is, so often we think that what one person does doesn't matter, or that a couple people really can't make a difference. And I had this distinct honor of working with people who said, yes, 1 or 2 people can really make a difference. And they have made a huge difference in what's going to happen in Palm Beach County. And in so doing, will affect what happens in Florida. So I say to you that I am so proud to have been part of what you did, even in some small way. And when you sit at that table and make those votes, you're fulfilling your dreams and the dreams of all of your constituents. And so I wish you nothing but the best. And you have offered me inspiration, and I hope that everyone will support you and tell you when you're wrong and help you when you need help, and that you will be I know you will be the good leaders that I have seen you be in the last 2 years. We actually went through 2 legislative aids together working through this. And we had one more Loxahatchee Groves bill this year. It was just the glitch bill. And it was the first bill that got passed out of our legislative delegation. And so we were recognized already. So thank you all. Congratulations. I can't tell you how delighted I am to see you sitting up there. And the best of luck.
And last, and certainly not least, we are honored this evening to have your district county commissioner here, who is going to say a few words and present some proclamations. County Commissioner Jess Santamaria.
I'd like to start by saying that I'm one of those that from day one supported the incorporation of the Loxahatchee Groves. From the very beginning, they informed me that they wanted to protect their quality of life. That was their motivation for incorporating. And I assured them that should I be elected a county commissioner, I would certainly join them in protecting the quality of life that they so deserve. So I'm with you every step of the way. This is really a repetition of something we already did at the County Commission Chambers on March the 13th. So basically it's a proclamation which I will basically reiterate tonight. Proclamation of the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, Florida, declaring March 29 to 31 as Loxahatchee Grove's Days in Palm Beach County. Whereas the rural community of Loxahatchee Grove was begun in 1902, when 2 million acres were purchased by the Southern State Land and Timber Company, and was settled in 1917, when the Palm Beach Canal from Lake Okeechobee to the Atlantic settlements was completed, and whereas the history and origin of the name Loxahatchee stems from an Indian dialect with the Loxa meaning turtle, and Hatchee meaning waters, and whereas on June 23, 2006, Florida Governor Jeb Bush signed House Bill 951 and gave the residents of Loxahatchee Groves the ability to incorporate as a town if they so voted. And whereas on October 10, 2006, the residents voted to incorporate as a town of Loxahatchee Groves, and whereas on behalf of the town of Loxahatchee Groves, the Loxahatchee Groves Water Control District, the Loxahatchee Groves Landowners Association, residents and sponsors, in celebration of the town of Loxahatchee Groves, in commemoration of the 90 years of establishment of the Loxahatchee Groves Water Control District, has united to provide 3 days of activities that include the town council's wedding ceremony, bonfire with singers, club dancers, and storytellers, and a town parade. Now therefore, be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, assembled in regular session the 30th day of March 2007, that March 29 through 31, 2007 in Palm Beach County is hereby declared Loxahatchee Grove's Days in Palm Beach County. There's a little bit more. And in behalf of the town of Loxahatchee Groves, extend invitation to neighbors and friends to enjoy these days of activities planned in celebration of the town of Loxahatchee Groves incorporation and in commemoration of the 90th anniversary of the Loxahatchee Groves Water Control District. Be it further proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County that this proclamation be duly sealed, ribboned, and executed by the members of the board. The foregoing proclamation was sponsored by Commissioner Jess Santa Maria, and upon unanimous consent of the board, the chairman declared the proclamation duly enacted. Thank you. One goes to the Water Control District. Can I have somebody representing the Water Control District? Dave? All yours.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. The next item on the agenda is the introduction of council member families, and we're going to have each council member recognize those people that are very special to them in the audience.
I'd like to introduce my wife, Laura. Please stand up.
Since my sons feel they have things better to do, now they're scattered all over the place. My wife, Sharon.
I'd like to introduce my husband, George. My son-in-law, Ralph. My grandchildren are outside playing, I believe. They're more interested in that. And my dear friend, Ruth Hamlin.
I'd like to introduce my wife and my rock, Debbie.
And my wife, Doreen Baxter.
Last chance before we make it official. Lock the doors, nobody gets out. It's my pleasure to now introduce you to Judge Nelson Bailey, who will preside over the installing, officiating, swearing in of the first ever Town Council of Loxahatchee Groves.
Let me ask you all to stand, please. Raise your right hand. And all together repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm
I solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and government of the United States
the Constitution and government of the United States
and of the state of Florida
and of the state of Florida
and the charter of the town of Loxahatchee Groves,
and the charter of the town of Loxahatchee Groves,
that I am duly qualified
that I am duly qualified,
to hold office under the Constitution of the state
that I hold office under the Constitution of the state
and the charter of the town of Loxahatchee Groves,
and the charter of the town of Loxahatchee Groves,
and that I will well and faithfully perform
and that I will well and faithfully perform
the duties of council member
the duties of council member
upon which I am now about to enter.
upon which I am now about to enter.
Ladies and gentlemen, as a county court judge here in Palm Beach County and a 25-year resident of the community of Loxahatchee Groves, now the town of Loxahatchee Groves, I present you the town council.
Thank you so much, Judge Nelson. We are now going to have one more item before we actually get into the business of the town, and that's the presentation of gifts. I thought you guys passed the gift legislation. You might want to put that on your agenda. We're going to start, I believe, with Mr. Sam Gorham, who's got a special gift for the town.
Thank you, Jamie. Good evening, members of the public. Welcome to your first town council meeting. Council members elect, congratulations and a very best of success to all of you. This evening, as your prospective legal counsel, and sitting with you is one of the best in the business, we congratulate you and thank you for the opportunity of working with you since the very beginning. in the words of the Beatles, was a long and winding road. And we are here, and for all that you have done to get here, we congratulate you, and it's an honor and a privilege for us to be in your midst. And for those who are present this evening, I know, and I can feel it in the crowd, how much you all commit yourselves to this process and how important being here means to all of us in this room. And for that, I, as a lawyer and as a person, am very, very grateful. Congratulations to you all. So to keep you legal, one of the things you got to have to start your meeting is a seal of the city of Loxahatchee Groves, and it is a town. So let me present to you from our law firm a gift, which is below the limit, by the way, not to worry. No problem here, Your Honor. I'm going to present this to the council collectively. We'll open it up. It is the first seal of the town of Loxahatchee Groves, which will enable you to sign documents, to execute those things that are required by law, and to do the legal business that you've been engaged to do as members of the town council. Congratulations, and again, the very best to all of you. We look forward to working with you very, very much. Congratulations.
They'll be validating parking tickets. I believe we have Scoutmaster from Troop 105, Brian Morgan. Are you presenting flags? Scouts are. Come forward, Scouts. If I get this correct, these are actually now official flags of the town of Loxahatchee Groves. One is from the American Legion Auxiliary Unit 367 in Royal Palm Beach, and the other is from the Loxahatchee Groves Landowners Association. Was there anybody else? That's all I have. Yes, Mr. Lella.
Hello. I'm a teacher. I don't need a microphone. Anyway, to whomever gets it, we need to be able to start. It says Loxahatchee Groves on it. Debbie and I are donating this to the town today. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. We are going to turn this over to the new town council and their acting attorney to do the business of the town. I have an official Palm Beach County League of Cities lapel pin for each one of them because they are officially now members, and I will give that to them, and we will turn this over to them to run the rest of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. At this point in time, pursuant to the town's charter, it is the town council's duty and obligation to elect a mayor and vice mayor. So at this point in time, pursuant to Robert's rules, it would be appropriate for the town council to receive nominations from its own members with respect to the position of mayor with respect to the town of Loxahatchee Groves. Mr. Lynn.
I'd like to nominate Dave Browning as the highest vote getter for the first time in our town.
Motion, nomination's been made and seconded. Are there any other nominations? No other nominations, then with a vote, all those in favor of Mr. Dave Browning being mayor of the town of Loxahatchee Groves, please say aye. Any opposed? No. Votes unanimous.
election of the vice mayor. Do we have a nomination?
I nominate Marjorie Rose.
Is there a second to that nomination? Second. Okay. Any other nominations for vice mayor? Then, if there are no other nominations, all in favor of Marge Herzog being vice mayor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We have a vice mayor. Doesn't blow up or anything. All right. Next item will be selection of interim town attorney. Do we need a motion on that? Or we need
Pursuant to your direction at the workshop meeting, we have presented the board with our proposal. If you desire to retain myself and David Holton from the board chair of duty as well as your attorney, have a motion to that extent.
I so move.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second?
Second. Any discussion on this item?
Yeah.
On the interim period, at some point, I imagine we're going to go to a proposal for who did. So, do we define interim, or is it just until we decide to switch time?
Until you decide whatever time you like.
It would be more appropriate to go ahead and set something. Would it be appropriate at this time to set some minimum parameter, not a maximum, but a minimum?
I'll be the one who made the motion. If they would like to amend that, and what is the time frame on that? I think that would be appropriate.
I'll make the motion and go with 6 months.
The one that's second.
I agree.
Okay. We have a motion and a second that we retain our attorney for a period of 6 months minimum. Any other discussions among the council members? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimous. All right. We need to set up an employee identification number and the banking issues. What's our first step?
With respect to the need for an employee identification number, that will enable the town to receive monies that it is entitled to. So what the town council should do at this time is authorize the mayor or the vice mayor in his absence to sign any necessary documents that would be required in order to obtain an employee identification number as well as a tax exemption certificate so the town can qualify for tax exempt status.
So moved.
Okay. Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on that? All in?
Do we have the forms that are necessary for executing this?
I have the forms with me, yes.
Great. Okay.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimous. We now go on to a mailbox.
If we could go back, Your Honor, just to number 11. We covered the employee identification number and tax exempt. We have the banking issue. I have prepared a resolution with respect to the town being able to go and establish a bank account. And I'd like to distribute this. And we spoke about it at the workshop meeting on Tuesday night. And if I might, for the record, I'll read the title of the resolution, then you can discuss it. This would be resolution number 2007-01, a resolution of the town of Loxahatchee Groves authorizing the mayor, the vice mayor, and council members to sign vouchers and checks to make deposits and withdrawals and to authorize transactions on investments as provided by law, providing for conflict, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. The purpose of this resolution would be to authorize the mayor, vice mayor, and council members to sign this resolution to be signatories on any bank account that the town does open. This will enable one of the town's representatives, who you may or may not authorize this evening, to go and locate a bank account on an interim basis. know our firm has offered its services with respect to receiving money to the extent that you don't have a bank account, but this would enable you to go out and be a little more proactive in obtaining that account and providing proof to the bank that yes, you're authorized to open such an account. So if the council, at such time the council members find this resolution to be appropriate, be a motion to approve the resolution, second, and then a vote.
Make a motion, we approve it.
Is there a second? Okay. Any further discussion on this resolution? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So passed.
What I'll do before we leave tonight, I have an original here, which I'll have the mayor and the vice mayor sign, and you will all have to affix your signatures as well to the original. We'll seal it, and that we can then use to allow you to establish a bank account somewhere.
Okay. Next item is our mailbox. I have been passed a brochure by United States Postal Service. We can trust them. Good deal. Do we have a motion as far as obtaining a mailbox?
I'll make a motion to get a PO box as soon as possible.
Motion made by Bill. Is there a second?
Size.
We've got a choice here.
We get big bucks.
Big bucks.
Oh, we have a motion.
Yes, you need a second.
Well,
Oh, the size too?
sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, I make a motion that we get a size 3 post office box.
Tell them what size it is.
It's a 11 by 5.5. I say 11 wide by 5.5 high by empty. And it's $72 a year or a half year? Year, okay. So there goes the first part of your tank. And two keys, please. Has dollars, sorry, 74. Anyway, putting it back, I make a motion to get the size 3 post office box as soon as possible.
We have a motion for a size 3 mailbox. Second. Any discussion on the mailbox?
If I might, with respect to that motion, you're also authorizing the expenditure of the funds as stated, as $72 plus $1 for each key. And you may also want to designate who would be the authorized possessors of those keys. At this moment. Well, I mean, for the record, that you should as part of your motion.
Okay, as part of the motion, I'll add is the mayor and the vice mayor. Until we get, yes, until such time that we have a town clerk. And then we can add a third.
Okay. Agree with that motion?
Agree.
Okay. Any other discussion? Vote on the motion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. Well, we're moving along. Mailbox.
Say something new and designate field
Okay. Next item, discussion and action concerning the interlocal agreement with Palm Beach County for building permits and inspection service.
If I might, Your Honor. We have had previous discussions in the past with Palm Beach County Planning and Zoning and Building Department concerning the continuation of services now that you are a town. I've been contacted by the Chief Building Official of Palm Beach County, and they're willing to extend the services through the month of April, so long as there is a letter from the town indicating that the town would enter into a interlocal agreement with Palm Beach County for those building inspection and permitting services. So if it is the town council's desire to do that, then by motion you would authorize the mayor to execute an appropriate letter to the Palm Beach County Building Department with respect to continuing those services and the goal of entering into an interlocal agreement with the county for those services.
Do we have a motion? Give the motion a second.
Motion is second.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we authorize the mayor to enter into this interlocal agreement.
Okay, is there a second?
At this point in time, it's just the letter.
Just the letter.
Send a letter. That will carry us through April.
Okay.
Okay. Now,
And also,
okay, now discussion.
The county generated the agreement, or do we?
I have, based upon an agreement the county had prepared when Wellington was incorporated, the county had generated certain interlocal agreements. The county had provided those agreements to our office. I used that as a template and have forwarded that over to the county based upon our discussions. And the response from them was, that's fine. We're willing to go through the end of April. We just want to have some type of letter or memorandum of understanding from the town that the intent is to enter into the interlocal agreement. So, and the services for all the town's residents will continue seamlessly through this transition.
okay, so then my follow-up question is, this letter is just a statement of intent to do the interlocal agreement that carries the past April?
Correct.
Okay.
So one of the first items in April will be dealing
Yes, go ahead.
with. Okay, any other discussion on this? If not, we'll vote. All in favor of this sending a letter regarding the interlocal agreement, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item is the discussion and action concerning an interlocal agreement with Loxahatchee Grove Water Control District for use of water control district facilities.
I know we're being recorded on a video camera, but this will be secondary backup. Okay, you can continue.
All right. Do I need to repeat that?
No.
Okay. Regarding the Water Control Board, the use of the Water Control District facilities.
This evening, Mr. Saunier presented me with a draft interlocal agreement between the town and the Water Control District. At this time, it would be appropriate, if the council desires to do so, to authorize the mayor to execute an appropriate interlocal agreement with the Water Control District, subject to council's review and approval. This will avoid the need of having to bring the interlocal agreement back to you, unless, of course, you want to see it. But in the economy of time, it may be appropriate just to authorize the mayor to execute it, subject to council's review and approval.
Okay. Do we have a motion? I make a motion. Do we have a second? Second by David. Okay, any other discussion? Yes.
I've not seen this, but I got I've not seen the local agreement, but I did receive a call, and we're asked that we do rent a, probably wrong choice of words, but have a member of the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office there during meetings, at least for some period of time. During the meeting, not after. That's something that I was asked to.
Right. Okay. Any other discussion?
Do you know if that could be a reserve officer?
All right. Do we want to include this in the motion, or do we need just
We'll
that?
we'll discuss that issue with them as part of the interlocal agreement.
And follow-up question on that is what in there pertains to insurance?
I do know that I do know that the Water Control District does require the town to have general liability insurance. I know you have, I believe, that item, insurance item on your agenda, number 16. So we can discuss it at that time, and we will work to get that insurance coverage as soon as possible.
Okay. Any other further discussion? If not, we'll vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. Okay. Next item, discussion regarding Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office agreement for service.
Well, I do know that the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office is going to need an interlocal agreement with the town. We have not had any. I haven't had any discussions with their office at this time, and so at this point in time, you might just want to authorize negotiations with the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office with the intent to bring back an interlocal agreement to you for your consideration.
Do we have a motion? Want to make a motion? discuss?
Okay, motion to authorize negotiation.
Motion to authorize negotiation.
Is there a second? Second. Second, okay. Go ahead, Dave.
Thank you. Glad you're doing this. I just want to make sure when we do this, that the understanding is this is just to keep things the way it is until we decide what level of service we want. If we're going to do an hourly. Our conversations with the EDSO is, there's a lot of flexibility. So the interlocal is just simply to keep service, which I think is the intent that we have right now.
Okay, any other discussion on this? Now, if we want to select one of our members to talk with them, would that be appropriate at this point?
You could designate one of the council members as the authorized representative at the negotiation.
Okay. Would we need another motion after, go with the first motion?
You could amend the first motion to include the name of the council member as part of that operation.
All right, I amend the motion to nominate myself.
Does the second agree? Hey, this is Loxahatchee Groves. Come on. Any other discussion? Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. All right. Next item concerning insurance coverage for the town. David?
The town is going to have to procure insurance, as we discussed with respect to the Water Control District, but also with respect to directors and officers insurance, with respect to the actions that you're taking as board members as well. It would, I don't personally have any information from like the Florida League of Cities or Preferred Government Insurance Trust, but if you want, you can authorize one of your members to look into that matter. We're more than happy to look into it for you and bring back information to you with respect to any policies that may be available. Mr. Sonny might have something to say as well.
Okay.
As discussed at your Tuesday night workshop, I did approach the district's insurance broker, Mr. Brian Cottrell, who's here in the audience. He represents PRIA and Pidgeot, Preferred Governmental Insurance Trust. He's provided insurance for the district now for over 20 years. And I would like to give him a chance perhaps to give you some material that he's prepared for you to review until your next meeting, if that's okay.
That would be good. Yes.
Good evening, Mayor Browning, Vice Mayor Herzog, and council members. My name is Brian Cottrell. I'm a local agent for Public Risk Insurance Agency. And one of the programs we represent is Preferred Governmental Insurance Trust, or PGIT. They insure over 600 cities, counties, and special districts in Florida. And I do have a proposal of coverage from that trust for you tonight. It's $1 million of liability for your general liability, your professional liability, non-owned auto, and also employment practices liability. That total premium on an annual basis is $9,900. Since at this point we technically have no employees, we could leave off the employment practices liability for a short time, which is $2,500 of that premium. That can be added later. If you acquire any automobiles, that can be added later, as well as personal contents and/or property. We would prorate these premiums from now until October 1st, which would be your fiscal year, and start an annual policy at that point. So I have a proposal of coverage with me tonight. We can bind it any time that you like, and I'll leave my cards and so forth with you for your review.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. David, what's your thoughts? Should we table this or basically wait until the next meeting to look at this proposal?
Yeah, I would suggest you put this on for your next meeting, see what information you can gather between now and then, and at such point in time, if you decide to obtain any insurance, you can do so at that time.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to item 17, discussion and action regarding revenue sharing, gas tax revenues, and the communication service tax.
The town is entitled to revenue sharing as well as the gas tax revenues and the communication service tax through Palm Beach County and the state of Florida. As part of you obtaining your employee identification number as well as your bank account, you'll have a place to put those funds and then spend them. I believe that this item was placed on the agenda at Mr. Autry's request. I don't know if he has any additional information, but we're continuing to work with the Department of Revenue, provide them with whatever information they need, as well as Palm Beach County, to make sure that the town gets the funds that it's entitled to.
Okay, so basically, we're on the right track.
Yes.
Anybody want to make this discussion?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that, I know the DOR sent us, I believe, an application or an agreement necessary to fill out to initiate the revenue sharing. I believe Liz Blazer. There's something we need to do with the county as well.
Now that you've met, and I will contact them and verify that everything is in place. But it's my understanding that the county has been collecting the funds that it's supposed to and segregating it for the town. So we'll take care of that with respect to the communication service tax. We'll contact the Department of Revenue with respect to the revenue sharing, and then the gas tax revenues would come pursuant to the interlocal agreement that the town would enter into with Palm Beach County and the other cities within the county at some point in time in the future. The charter provides that you're entitled to those gas tax revenues based upon your population. Currently, in the future, will be based upon the lane miles, which I know you're all well aware of, and we'll be looking into those issues as well in the future. It looked like the letter was more informational, specifically for the town of Loxahatchee Groves, because of the existence of the charter provision. But if you'd like to, I can make a call to him and find out if he requires any specific information.
Well, he had asked that we provide him a letter stating that we have reviewed the map, which I have given to Cleve, showing the roads within the community, and that we agree that all roads are shown.
Well, what we can do is we can bring that map back for you to review at your next meeting. I know it said, the date said March 30th, I believe, that he wanted a response. But what we'll have to do is we'll have to bring that map to you so that you can review it. And I'll see if we can get more copies. And then you can decide whether or not the map is accurate or not, if you want to send a letter. And I'll also call Mr. Harden and see exactly what he's looking for if we can't get that letter to him by March 30th.
Yeah, my biggest question on all of this is getting some definitive answers on which of our roads qualify. Maybe a yay or nay from on high.
Well, it's my understanding with respect to the lane miles that it's basically local determination in the county. So we'll look at that as far as which roads qualify under the gas tax revenues. We'll work with the folks at the Water Control District so that we're all on the same page and we make sure the town gets all the revenues that it's entitled to.
Right, and they were supposed to be discussing that with George Webb. So we may want to see if they've made a determination between the county engineer.
Okay, we have a consensus here as to whether you want David's law firm to handle this or whether anybody wants to volunteer to follow up. Okay, Dennis will volunteer, so you follow up with the Water Control Board and with everyone all right with that? Consensus? Good deal. We good with that? All right, next item. Discussion concerning E Road 140. Now, who would want to speak about this?
We have gotten a thing in, I'm not sure this should fall under the revenues, but the ordinance for FP&L, does that fall under this, or is that for next time?
Well, we did, FP&L did forward a draft franchise fee ordinance. FP&L is very interested in the town enacting a franchise fee ordinance because it is currently collecting franchise fees, but would like to collect those franchise fees on behalf of the town. I forwarded the draft to you. We're still in the process of reviewing it. What would be appropriate potentially at your next meeting is to bring forward the ordinance for your review and consideration on first reading. And if you find it appropriate at that time, you can pass it on first reading, and then it would have to come back for second reading as well. So, please review the ordinance. If you have any questions, give me a call, and we can contact FPL. But they have contacted our office and are very interested in seeing that this ordinance is adopted. And those revenues, the franchise fees that would come to the town would start coming about 2 or 3 months after the ordinance is passed, through their process of collecting it and accounting for it and then passing it on to the town.
All right. Now, item 18, 140D road.
This is going to be discussing a letter that I once sent to Justice Santa Maria and all commissioners and the Judge Gross Regional Planning Commission, Palm Beach County Metropolitan Planning Organization, and the Department of Community Affairs in Tallahassee. Primarily what's going on behind this letter is, for years, most of you know, we've been trying to get E Road 140th off the thoroughfare identification map because it's going to bisect our community. Years past, when we wrote our neighborhood plan, we wanted it off, the acreage wanted it on. Fortunately, we've got much more enlightened people today, and they want it off. This is a window of opportunity that probably will not come again to hit tomorrow. We need this letter out immediately. The Indian Trails Improvement District has sent a letter requesting the removal of E Road 140th thoroughfare from the thoroughfare identification map. I'm suggesting we do the same thing and have taken the liberty of drafting one and also a little bit of liberty in the first sentence. By unanimous vote of the town council, go figure. We request that you direct county staff to initiate the immediate and permanent removal of the E Road 140th Avenue thoroughfare from the county's thoroughfare identification map. The history of Loxahatchee Grove's objection to this thoroughfare dates back to its inception within the 1989 Midland study. At that time, our objections fell on deaf ears. At the county's behest, Loxahatchee Groves entered and completed the neighborhood planning process, and that plan, including survey results and our request for E Road 140th removal from county plans, was formally accepted by the county on June 4th, 1996. We have learned that Indian Trails Improvement District has recently sent you a letter similarly requesting the removal of E Road 140th Avenue from the thoroughfare right-of-way identification map. Thus, with a consensus of the two communities that would be directly and adversely impacted by such a thoroughfare through existing residential areas, we implore you to have staff initiate the removal of E Road 140th Avenue from any and all county plans immediately and permanently. It is also imperative that this occur quickly so this request can be placed in the round one staff-initiated initiatives if in the comp plan review process for 2007. We thank you for your time and consideration. Signed XXXX, which is now David Browning, Mayor. So I guess, can I make a motion? Okay, I make a motion that this beautiful letter be sent to Judge Santa Maria.
We have a motion and a second. Now, it's interesting, he said it was unanimous, but he couldn't name the mayor, so. Discussion, or any other discussion here?
Yeah, we have the precedent on this since it was removed officially in the comp plan of 2004-01. So there is precedent for this. The staff has already done it. I think we probably need to reference that in the letter.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other comments?
I'll amend the motion to include mention of text amendment staff report. I'm going to cite round 04-2 because that's in the next letter.
Okay. All right, second. Okay, we've got our comments by the council members, by the public.
Just one, the Water Control District Board of Supervisors has already submitted 2 separate resolutions to the Board of County Commissioners requesting 140th E Road be taken off the thoroughfare now, so you might want to consider, I would ask you to consider.
Okay, I'll amend my amendment. When were those done, Click?
I'm sorry?
When was the last one done?
Off the top of my head, it was 99 and 2003, I believe. I can confirm that for you tomorrow.
Okay. I'll use CA period.
You just want to do your own resolution, I think, now within 4 hours.
Yeah. Okay. LGWSD resolution and county 04-2. Okay.
Okay, we have a motion that's been amended and amended, and we have a second that is in agreement. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. The mayor recognizes Jess Anna Marie.
I'd like to volunteer, with your permission, to personally hand deliver the letter.
Okay, next item, item number 19, discussion concerning town council meeting schedule. Do I have, we can probably throw out Robert's rules for a second, discuss it first, and then have a motion.
I updated that thing.
Any discussion on this as far as the...
It looks to me like the first and third Tuesday.
I've had a lot of input from people requesting the first and third Monday, which would make it Loxahatchee Grove meeting day. Everybody wouldn't even have to think it. Monday is a meeting. Oh, it doesn't move up 4-day weekend.
And holidays.
That was brought up, but I think it only happens like 2 times a year.
Yeah, the holidays are only 2 times a year. And well, we just don't meet on that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Any other discussion?
Well, I know there was some considerations with
My only concern with respect to Mondays was I know in January and February you have the third Mondays are holidays. And you also have Memorial Day is the end of the month, you have Labor Day. And, while you can reschedule them, it's just, I think that's why you typically don't see governments meeting on that first Monday. Because there are those holidays that, whatever works for you, we'll make it work.
Okay, the other thing I just noticed was, that's on Wednesday, so. No, that's right, okay, yeah, I was against the third Tuesday because it conflicted with Jess's meeting, but it's really the third Wednesday.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, first and third Tuesday is fine.
All right, any other discussion? A lot of work.
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay.
So the Loxahatchee Groves town council meetings be on the first and third Wednesdays of the month. Excuse me, first Tuesdays of the month.
Second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the first and third Tuesdays of the month. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I will contact the Palm Beach Post tomorrow, since the first is next week already, and give them the notification. We don't need to do another legal notice, do we?
No. With respect to notification, the Sunshine Law requires that you post, publicly post notice. You provide a reasonable time prior to the meeting. With respect to your individual meeting notice, there's no requirement that you publish it. The publication requirements would come into play with respect to the adoption of ordinances and second reading. But with respect to actually newspaper publication of a meeting, it's not necessarily required.
Okay. Sure.
That you also vote on a time, because if you're going to make it a legal notice, you need to vote on it.
Thank you, Michelle.
That would be appropriate.
That would be good. So do you want to amend your motion?
Amend that to a 7 p.m. start, and since the interlocal agreement has to be out there by 10:30, and 10:30 stop.
So that's a new motion. The meetings will be held from 7 to 10:30.
A maximum of 10:30. That means we got to stay till 10:30. Okay. All right. Any other discussion? Any discussion by the public? I'm sorry I've left you out of this, but anybody have any comment?
Given the amount of work we have, to do, these meetings that we're arranging is a not a workshop, correct?
Correct.
And if we want to have workshops or other types of meetings, are we going to have those?
You can have your meetings whenever you want. The only requirement is that you post notice, as reasonably far in advance as you can. So, if you decide that you need to have a special meeting, you haven't necessarily adopted those procedures as far as what's required to call a special meeting. Who can call a special meeting? Those are things you can work on. But I think for the time being, to the extent you need a meeting, call it as long as you can provide that notice.
Yeah, I was just wondering if the idea that we're having 2 meetings is because of the volume of work that we anticipate, or in addition to that, we having other workshops like we did on Tuesday to get stuff done.
Probably, but I don't know about the rest of it, but I hope by a year or 2 or
Well, yeah, but I'm just
one or every other month.
Yeah, does council have to be at the workshop as well? It's not that I don't like you.
No, I know. We're welcome to be at whatever meetings you want us to be at, and we recognize the recognition of town will do whatever you want. Of course, we recommend that you have counsel there because the most mundane issues can raise legal issues. So we'd love to be available to assist you with those.
Okay. Yes. What's that?
Our barn.
Well, right now we're working on an interlocal agreement with Water Control, so I believe that's where we're headed. What's that? No, I don't believe that. That's not just workshops. Okay. Any other comments by the council? Any comments by the public?
Does that start next week?
What's that?
Does that start next Tuesday?
Yes, it will start next Tuesday.
Thank you.
Bill?
Mayor, the board and any committees that it appoints are governed by the Sunshine Law. So to the extent that the council does appoint committees to do any work on behalf of the town, those committee meetings would have to be noticed publicly, would have to be held in a public location, and minutes would have to be taken.
Okay, any other comments by the public? Mr. Santa Maria.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to take this opportunity tonight to make an appeal. This is a unique opportunity. I see here representatives from all of the western communities, Wellington, Royal Palm Beach, the Acreage, and Loxahatchee Groves. Each of the communities is uniquely different, and yet at the same time we have many similarities. Obviously, we all care about our children. We all care about our quality of life. We all care about preserving the good things that we all came here for. And I think if we really want to make this Western communities the paradise that we all came here for, we really have to unite. We really have to unite as one. What really affects Wellington affects all of us. What affects the Acreage affects all of us. What affects Royal Palm Beach, the same thing. And what affects Loxahatchee Grove residents affects all of us. We're not islands by ourselves. We're really all one community. And one of my favorite stories, novels, growing up as a young boy, was The Three Musketeers. And the theme of The Three Musketeers is all for one and one for all. And that's what I hope to accomplish. Start tonight. Now that you're being incorporated, I'd like to make that the goal of all of the Western communities and all of us together to protect each other what hurts one hurts everybody. What benefits one benefits everybody. So that's my appeal for all of you tonight. Let's not concern ourselves with our differences. On the other hand, should we occasionally have different opinions, we should respect and treat each other with dignity. I think we've seen how other communities destroy each other, and I really feel we can do it. We really can. And I ask each and every one of us representing the different communities, to make that our resolution tonight, to do everything we can to be one Western communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. All right, we have a motion and a second on our meeting nights and times and place. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have a presentation by Jamie Titcomb. Oh, no, I'm sorry. One more. Hold on. We slipped another item in there, 19 and a half. Bill?
Sorry to slip one on to the agenda that I spent about an hour and a half on a conference call today with a bunch of people, including Mike Erickson and Joanne Davis and everybody, and we had a lot of requests to send some sort of a letter trying to ameliorate traffic impacts in the central western communities, and I've now turned that into a request to go to Commissioner Santa Maria that goes as follows, again with a little, by unanimous vote of the Town Council. We request that you and your fellow commissioners adopt Text Amendment Staff Report Amendment Round 04-2, also known as the Central Western Community Sector Plan Version 04-2, with a few minor changes updates. Please change 40% true open space to 60%, allowing density clustering for gross density of no more than one dwelling per 5 acres. One dwelling unit per 5 acres equals 0.2 DU per acre. Second, consider moving the employment center from outside the sector plan area to a central location, but with significant buffering and restrictions as to hours of operation, noise, and light impact, and total floor space. Third, all external open space set-asides should be true open green space and should not include parks, golf courses, swimming pools, and the like. Lastly, 1,000 Friends of Florida and the Everglades Law Center will be bringing proposals forward regarding reinstating the sector plan with suggestions for growth management and environmental enhancement. Please consider the suggestions as well as those presented here. The conversion of agriculture to non-agricultural lands in this area should assist in alleviating, not exacerbating, existing problems. This request is trying to bring common sense to the future of the central western communities. The total intensity of development should be minimized, as the traffic impacts will negate any semblance of the quiet rural life that all of the existing residents have moved here to enjoy. Three municipalities have already commissioned independent traffic analyses, as they and we do not trust nor believe developer commissioned studies, nor should the county commission. Please do not allow future development to ruin the lives and dreams of your existing constituents. We thank you for your time and consideration.
Okay, I'm going to put that in the form of a motion.
I move this beautiful letter.
Or authorize the mayor to execute.
Yes, I authorize the mayor to execute this letter with as written and the spelling corrections. I read it as it should have been typed.
Okay, is there a second?
I second that.
Okay, Dennis seconds it. Any discussion by council members?
Okay, I will sort of. Go ahead. I was going to say that the only thing I was going to say is that in the future, I would not like to present letters this broad sweeping without at least 1 to 2 week review by everybody. However, the timing of our installation and everything with what's going on at the county level, it just forced me to do this. And we have a small window of opportunity to make a difference.
Yeah, add to that, tomorrow, 1 o'clock, at the Jog Road facility, there's discussion exactly on this topic. I plan to be there.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Yeah, following up on that, I would like to be there, but the state expects me to tell some kids about environmental chemistry. So I hope that Dennis will be there, and I hope that someone else can get there as well.
Okay. Large comment. Okay, any comments by the public on this item? Mike?
I was in that meeting today. It was a telephone conference, basically, and I was there information gathering. So I wouldn't want to project that I represented my board because we haven't met on this subject yet. So I just want to clarify that.
Right. Okay. Any other comments?
Yeah, question to Mike. Did I come across the same you did? I thought you sent a letter.
No, we haven't transmitted the letter at all on calorie judge yet. It hasn't come before our board.
I didn't say calorie judge.
Mike?
Where am I? Question.
It's not in your letter. You just made the statement that I was in the meeting, and I just want to make sure that I've had a lot of discussions, and I'm interested personally in a lot of discussions. But I wasn't there representing our board.
Oh, okay. No, I'm sorry if I misrepresented Mike's participation in that conference call today.
Okay, any comments? Yes.
I would like to make a comment.
State your name for the record.
My name is Mr. Hiraman, at 1059 B Road. I think at this stage in our township, making a sweeping statement like that, I think is a bit premature. Because if we are creating a town, we've got to think of cradle to the grave. I.e., we must create facilities for children, for nurseries, for many hospitals, daycare centers. And if we have a situation like this, 1 to 5 acres, where would be the places to create a new town for these facilities? So I personally feel it's not right. We've got to create a town, not just for 5 acres, people within 5 acres. Because, hey, we can afford a 5 acre today. We've got to create a town for everybody, which is children to the young to the old. And restricting our town to 5 acre plots for the future, I can't see that being sensible.
Okay, those were
I really couldn't hear.
Okay.
Anybody catch that?
Yeah, we'd like to come up and speak a little closer to the microphone.
Just state your name again.
My name is Sundar Hiraman. I live 1059 B Road. Our property has been there since 1989. The comment of having all our land into 5 acre plots, I think is a great idea. But if we created a new town has to have everybody being paid for, i.e. from the cradle to the grave. I would like to make this statement. I created 5 acre plots for everyone. Where is the facilities for creating nurseries, daycare, elderly people's homes, whatever is required, like any given town. By creating a town of 5 acre plus, we are sort of creating a one type of person, living here. People who can afford to live, like maybe mostly elderly people or people with houses, etc. But we all have children. No mention is made for any facilities for, our young population and our elderly population. I think we have to sort of think about that.
Thank you. Okay, I see the misunderstanding. Okay, but I see the misunderstanding here. Sundar, is it? I think?
Yes.
Yeah. In going forward, supporting the sector plan for the Central Western communities of the areas to be developed. This doesn't pertain directly to Loxahatchee Groves, number one. Number two, The sector plan is talking about the areas that will be converted from ag to non-ag uses, and it's a gross 1 unit per 5 acres with a 60% set aside. So if you've got 10,000 acres, 6,000 are not going to get built, but you get to move the dwelling units that would have been on those 6,000 acres onto the 4,000 acres. So you're going to have a variety of homes being built, everything from townhomes to 1 acre lots to maybe some 5 acre lots, but I doubt it out there. This does not pertain to Loxahatchee Groves. This is for the undeveloped area. This is the sector plan. And is anybody out there, am I misinterpreting what's going on? Okay, that's what's going on. It's a gross 1 unit per 5 acre. It's not, this is in no way saying that everything should get divided up into little 1 unit per 5 acre plots.
Okay, Doug. Everybody can hear me just fine. But loud enough? Just a bit of record.
Doug Schaefer, Team 95 Hyde Park Road. My wife and I moved here about 5 years ago for what this place is. I didn't move here to change it. I don't want to see it changed. I feel like the rural status of this community is going to be maintained by this council, and that's what we're here for. Speaking of children, what we leave for our children is a legacy. The wood ducks, the otters, everything that lives out in this community. If you don't leave that for your children, you've left nothing. There's plenty of concrete that can be built everywhere else. So save what we have. Thank you.
I support the letter and think it's very important. My name is Morley Sloss. I'm the owner of Sunsport Family Naturist Resort on North Road in Loxahatchee Grove. The world famous one that's been quoted in Stern magazine in Germany and CNN all over the world. Okay. I'd like to speak in favor of the letter. I think these things are being considered right now before the county commission. I agree that in general letters need more time, but Loxahatchee Grove is just beginning, and we need to get this on the record quickly. We have about 12 children living at Sunsport Gardens now, and I can say that they're living there because of the rural character and their ability to explore nature and so on. And it's very important that we don't load up the roads around here with lots and lots of traffic. If we build even outside of Loxahatchee Groves in the western communities, and this sector plan is not just talking about Loxahatchee Groves, it's talking about the western community, to the west of us, to the north of us, in quite a wide area. And if we increase traffic tremendously, it's going to change the character, even if we keep Loxahatchee Groves at 1 to 5. So it is important. We do have hospitals. We have daycare centers on Okeechobee Road. We have lots of facilities, and they're adequate for us. We don't need a lot more building up around here, and we elected this wonderful, wonderful council with a promise and with campaign promises to move in the direction that this letter is talking about. And I would urge you to support it, and I'm very happy you're moving quickly.
Okay. If I might just briefly, in the future, if there are items such as this, you can have a resolution prepared, from the town of Loxahatchee Groves that you could, similar to the letter, but you can distribute that to the governmental entities that you desire to as well. Also, the resolutions don't necessarily require, public notice, public hearing, but I recognize what you're doing tonight. So In the future, if you have items you want on the agenda, we could prepare a resolution in advance for your consideration as well.
Okay, I'll call it to a vote. Council members, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimous. Next item, Jamie.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Feels good to say that. My only quick comment on that last item, Councilmember Lauda, if you continue to predict unanimous votes at every meeting, I think you'll have a little conversation with the press about sunshine law. So, but I understand this is the first meeting ever, so I would just recommend you leave that little part blank in the future. One of the big tasks that you have at hand, the way I understand it, of course, is how you're going to manage your town and administrate your town. And I believe that's the purpose of putting me on the agenda tonight, to bring forward to you officially from the League of Cities perspective a menu of options that you can look at. This is a manager-council form of government as identified in your charter, and therefore you will be going about the business of finding someone who is your paid staff person, I believe, to help you actually run the day-to-day operations of the town, so that you can act in your capacity as the legislative body of the town. To that end, there are a number of resources available to you out there, and I'd like to go over again a menu or a list, and then seek your direction as to how we can help you, or which direction you might like to go off in order to secure some professional talent for the town in order to help you through the day-to-day operations. You're certainly, as you've indicated here tonight, you're going to have immediate needs. Things need to happen right away, and then of course there's more long-term needs and maintenance of the town as its own entity. In terms of the immediate needs, there are two organizations that might be of interest to you. One is called the Florida City County Managers Association, which is operated by, or the secretariat to it is the Florida League of Cities, which actually operates that organization. And that is an extensive network of city managers across the state. And they have two programs associated with their services. One is called Range Riders, and the Range Riders is a series of very talented, very qualified individuals that have been city managers in all size cities, town managers, from the smallest of the small to the largest of the large, and they are now retired, and they are available as on a consulting basis as well as a short-term contractual basis to step in and provide some of those services that you may be looking for. And by virtue of the fact that they are retired and they do this more as a labor of love than looking for a permanent career position, and that provides one option to you. They have another program at the FCCMA called Managers in Transition, and that again is a temporary solution to management. First time recording today? Okay. Another thing the administrator can do for you. The Manager in Transition program, as the name implies, at any given time for a number of reasons, there are a whole host of very talented professional individuals that are between jobs. They've left one particular community and they are seeking to move to another community. And they put themselves into rotation, if you will, in the program called Managers in Transition. And what they do is they come work under contract for a short period of time that is predetermined, and it can also be determined that those candidates that serve you in that capacity are not or are eligible to be considered for your permanent administrator manager down the road. You can specify that. So there's a lot of talent out there of all descriptions that would be available to you through that program. In addition to that, there's some local groups here in the county that would be able to advise you and or even step in on a voluntary basis to make sure you get up and running properly. And that would include the Palm Beach County City Managers Association, which represents the local group of managers in the 37, but you make 38 municipalities here in the county. There is also the Palm Beach County Clerks Association that deals with some of the recording and clerical issues that you'll be facing. Of course, you're enacting several contracts here tonight and in the near future with various departments and staffs of Palm Beach County. And I would certainly look at those opportunities to interface with those professional staffs for particular areas where you need help in that. Just one other, before I talk about a couple other quick things, there's also of interest to you perhaps a group that is designed for intergovernmental negotiation and mitigation of conflict, and that's called the Issues Forum, as well as IPARC. And IPARC stands for the Intergovernmental Planning Advisory Resource Council. I think I got that acronym right. That's the group of planners, the technical people of all the cities that take on issues to talk about some of the technical solutions that you might encounter intergovernmentally. In addition to that, the Palm Beach County League of Cities has a staff and an attorney, in case you don't think the attorney you've just appointed is the most stellar person in the world, which he is. If you need a second opinion, my board has authorized that we certainly as staff and legal help can provide additional information for you where needed. And that is not an editorial comment about the fine work of Mr. Tulsis and his firm. I can attest to that. In addition to that, you have the regional planning councils that can provide you some planning and technical assistance. Now, granted, whether you use a private technical concern or the regional planning council, or even in some cases the Florida League of Cities or others, you may be facing a fee-for-service situation in which you're identifying the project that you need looked at and the solutions that you need created, and then some sort of compensation that's associated with that for those planning or solution services that come from these different entities. You also have the option of going with private headhunters if you are looking to hire an administrator manager in the near future. The one advantage to that would be that the private headhunting firms, and there's just a short list of them, and I wouldn't presume to endorse any of them in the public meeting or otherwise, are doing this all the time. They know who's out there. They know who the pool of candidates are. They could do SWOT analysis on the different candidates you might consider, and they can help you with the procedures. On the flip side, there is a free side, especially in the startup situation that you're in, and that's the Palm Beach County League of Cities creates from time to time ad hoc committees. And if you felt you needed special help in selecting a manager or administrator, bringing city officials from other towns and villages and cities to bear to try to help you figure out what really is important in these proceedings. I know that our city officials, of which you are one part of 230 of them that I work for and the organization works for, can be brought to bear both in a advisory capacity or a committee, ad hoc committee structure. Finally, I would like to tell you that being one of the 38 municipalities in Palm Beach County, the other 37 already have staffs in place in most cases, which include a city clerk, a city manager, in some cases planning departments, finance directors, attorneys. We all stand ready collectively, and on behalf through the League of all the cities, we stand ready to give you expertise and give you advice on any one area that you might need to get through prior to you hiring a full-time official person to handle the affairs of the county. One other note, as you saw, it incorporated the legislative delegation office. It can be very useful to you, the staff there, as well as your legislators, in terms of dealing with tricky issues of legislation and law that you might encounter. With that, I will discontinue my menu of options that are out there available to you, and be happy to answer any questions in a way that we might assist you in selecting your next city administrator, town manager for Loxahatchee Groves.
Okay.
Because you were up in Tallahassee, we didn't get a chance to talk, but I have talked to Dick Simmons about the Range Rider program. We had a conversation today, and he's the state coordinator for the Range Riders, and what I wanted to do is see, once we got our schedule, if it's okay, he has offered at some point in the near future to come down and do a presentation on what he would offer with the Range Riders. And he did mention that just recently somebody has retired. I'm not sure how close they are to us, but and this individual has also done a startup before. So if it's if you want to do that.
Well, let's get it on the agenda.
Do we have a consensus for David to follow up on this regular item? Well, there's 37 other towns, and we borrow your staff for 10 days.
Hey, there you go. You got it covered. Rotational basis.
Well, I knew that he'd go with the Range Rider system. He's an equestrian. Anyway, my question to you, Jamie, was, I'm pretty good with acronyms. I mean, I worked for DSDP, iPod at FAU for many years. But if your notes, can we get a deciphered copy of all of those?
I would be happy to provide that to you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other discussion by the council members? Any discussion by the public? Any questions for Jamie? Jamie, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, we have 10 minutes till the AC goes off, so... It's already off, okay. It's all right. All right. Then those who wore jackets will be sorry. Okay, next regular meeting agenda. What do we need to discuss? Do we need to set up a policy for submitting things?
Submit things to David. Till we get it work.
I'd like to come up, well, we could actually do for a moment. I didn't think we'd get through 22 so far agenda items, but to prioritize them, we're going to have lots to talk about. So some way we'll come up with, input from the council, and then a way of either voting or some way of prioritizing what things we want to hit first in case we run out of time in terms of agendas. That's what I'd like to talk about.
What you could authorize is the council members to submit items for the agenda, albeit we have a short window with your meeting on Tuesday. And then as the mayor would have the right to prioritize those items, I could provide the list to all of you and then let the mayor prioritize them, and then that would be the agenda for the meeting.
We had established some items at the workshop also for the second meeting.
Correct, and I have a list of those back in my office, so I can forward those to you to remind you of what those are as well.
The other thing we will have, obviously, is when we vote for the approval of the agenda, every council person will have the opportunity to basically adjust or prioritize. So we'll have that discussion in each meeting.
The question I have, I guess, a sunshine clarification. If we submit agenda items, you throw it together and then blast it back to all of us, and we answer only to you, not to other ones, and we go back and forth to get a prioritization, is that breaking sunshine without knowing who did what?
My suggestion was that you submit agenda items submit agenda items to my attention would be the proposal, and then I would put all those on a list and forward them to the mayor and let him prioritize them, and then we would publish the agenda as done. And as part of that agenda would be approval of the agenda. So if something needs to be adjusted at the meeting, you could do that.
Oh, okay.
So once we get a manager, it'll be a little cheaper to get our agenda.
I do it very quickly. So. No, but you might want to just have a brief consensus among you, or a motion that you'll submit them to town council, and town council will forward that list to the mayor.
I'll make that one.
Okay, good. Okay, March. It's a chance to stop. Okay, any other discussion by the council on this? So submit any items for the agenda, and that will be part of it. Any comments by the public? All in favor, signify by saying aye. All in favor. Yeah. And I would add, you know, guys, you elected us up here. Any item you want to see on that agenda, contact me. You know, that's allowed within the sunshine. You can say anything you want to us. So let us know. We'll get it on the agenda. We'll get it. Yes, one up.
Individually.
Individually.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that's what I meant.
Send it to any one of us, and we can send it forward to them.
Alan Tobin, B Road. First of all, when we started this election process, I kind of thought it was like a high school election. But I want to tell you, this is way better than high school. I'd like to repeat something that I've heard Mr. Santa Maria say a number of times lately, and it really impressed me. He said, we get the government we deserve. And right now the energy level is high, everybody's here. I hope that we will continue to support this council. We got a lot of work to do, and not a lot of time to do it in. And I'm also wondering, could we use this facility for a meeting place if you outgrow the water control district? But anyhow, thank you very much. Congratulations.
Cross that bridge when we get to it.
Okay.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor of the setting the regular meeting agenda, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
If I might, Mr. In light of the short time frame between today and your next meeting next Tuesday, if there are any other items that you didn't raise on Tuesday night, get them to me as soon as possible so I can get the agenda to the mayor tomorrow afternoon so that we can get it out, hopefully before the end of business tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Next item, 22, public comments. Mayor.
I hope you realize what you just said, because you've just lost your identity. You will either be called Mr. Mayor, Mayor Dave, but you have lost your last name. I'm Tom Wenham, and I'm the mayor of the Village of Wellington. And this is very interesting for me. 11 years ago this month, we became incorporated, I think as the 36th community, Jamie? Well, anyhow, we became incorporated 11 years ago. We were then the newest community in Palm Beach County. And here, I'm proud to be here as your neighbor and friend tonight to welcome you into this municipal government arena that we're all in. I want to follow up on what Jess has said. I support it 100%. The mayor of Royal Palm Beach and I have a standing agreement. If they need something in Royal Palm, give us a call. I say the same thing to you folks. We have to work together. There's no question about it. When we get hit by a hurricane, it hits all of us. And we have to work together to get the area cleaned up. So anything that we, the Village of Wellington, can do to help you. And by the way, picking up on Jamie, one of you will be appointed to the IPAC. I'm the Wellington representative. We met in Lantana, Mayor Stewart's hometown today. So you will be getting on those committees. But I say to you, all of you, if there's anything the Village of Wellington can do to help, assist, work with you, as was mentioned, we have a manager, we have a finance director, we have a village clerk, and all of that in place. And I think I said it to some of you individually. Let us help you through some of these things that we went through when we were becoming corporate. So, good luck to all of you. I stand here to work with you. And Mr. Mayor, I turn this back over to you.
We'll put our Lady of Wellington down for the first 10 days with it. Thank you. Any other public comments?
Ken Johnson from Loxahatchee.
Ken Johnson from Collecting Canal Road.
Has there been any discussion in your workshops for a website for the town of Loxahatchee Groves?
We have a request for a renewal of our existing loxhatcheegroves.com, but there was some discussion that we might want to go to loxhatcheegroves.gov.
Right, okay, because I think
So that might be
communication-wise, that would be critical for what we're getting into here now. Thank you, and congratulations.
All right, anybody else while he's got the microphone out there?
Quick follow-up on that, though. That is not a true website. That's just an email.
Okay. David.
On behalf of the League of Cities, all our cities, I want to congratulate all of you. And I want to invite you to something that we have every couple of years, and it's for newly elected officials and old elected officials. Jess, you need to listen to this. We're going to have in May, our League of Cities, a meeting on ethics in honest services law. And Jess, I invite you and all your county commissioners to come to it. This is something that you can learn from, something to keep everyone out of trouble. And I don't want to put any one of you on the spot, but I want to congratulate one of your members. And I don't want to embarrass her, but Marge, all you residents need to take notice here. This lady, for the last 4 years, has been attending almost every League of Cities meeting. She's attended District League of Cities meetings. She has gone to almost every meeting that I can remember of the League of Cities to learn, to promote her community. And you deserve a round of applause because you have tried very well to represent your community. And other members have been there also, but Marge, for the last 4 years, has been very diligent in coming forward with that. And thank you, and keep up the diligence.
Thank you, David. Michelle.
Quick follow-up. You could nominate her for a rep.
Sure.
Well, congratulations. My name is Michelle DeMona, and I'm president of the Indian Trail Improvement District Board of Supervisors. And I just want to congratulate all of you. I've been watching this very carefully, and I've been rooting for your success. So I do want to mention, and it relates to something Commissioner Santa Maria said earlier about the Western communities working together. And we just had our meeting at the Western Communities Council this past month, and we're going to do it every 90 days. So the next one is June 19th. Would love for you to send a representative over from Loxahatchee Groves, and we will be hosting that at the Indian Trail Improvement District office at 7 p.m. And we will have refreshments. So I just hope you send someone over and join the council, and let's get this party started, right? Congratulations.
Thank you, Michelle. Any other comments? All right. Comments by the council members. Start right down here with Dan.
Thanks everybody for coming out tonight. It's an auspicious beginning. I'm looking forward to getting a lot of things done this year. And it's going to take everyone's support.
What in the world am I doing? Anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming out to support, especially getting us incorporated, getting us through the election. And the main thing, like everybody has said tonight, is stay involved, because if we have public input and then make decisions based on that public input, we can blame everybody. If we make the decisions ourselves, y'all are going to blame us. So come, help us, guide us. We need you. Thank you.
I too would like to thank everyone for coming, and I appreciate your kind comments about my attendance at the local meetings. I will continue to appear wherever I am needed. My motto is get her done, and I will get her done.
I want to thank everyone here, this council, for selecting me as mayor, but I'm still Dave. I'm sure I'll be kidded about being mayor, but anyway, we're all in the same boat. This council is here to represent you. We are going to do the best we can. So, like I said, you know where we live. You know our phone numbers. Call us if you have a problem. Keep in touch. Again, one at a time. Yeah. And I thank all of the dignitaries. Thank you very much. Our neighbors, Wellington, Royal Palm, the acreage. We appreciate, and we're going to look forward to a lot of your help. Jess, thank you very much. We're looking forward to walking and helping you and working with you to protect our lifestyle for all of our communities out here. Shelley, thank you very much for what you've done. So thank you all for coming. Here's David.
Thank you, Mayor. Ditto everything that's already been said. I do want to acknowledge a couple people. Donna, could you stand up there just for a minute? Donna Brosmer's here. Donna was as instrumental as anyone in getting this to happen tonight. She worked with us from the very beginning on the incorporation and has done just more than anybody will ever know. And I'm glad she's here tonight to see this. Jamie, the League has been terrific all along. I know Marge has attended a bunch of meetings, but the League has supported us and made us feel a part of almost as if we were a municipality 3-4 years ago. I mean, it's been tremendous, the support we've got from the League. And Wellington has stood by us and given us great advice. And I've talked to the mayor and other council members of Wellington over the years, and I hope to continue to use your phone and get more advice. And Royal Palm as well. Did they take off? They're gone. All right. Anyways, thanks for coming, and we've got a lot of work to do, and I look forward to working with the council. And Sam, your firm, again, terrific, all the work you've done for us. Thanks.
Okay, we now have a closing prayer and song. Yes. Okay, Ashley, would you like to sing first? And we still have some food over there. Somebody said their meetings and refreshments.
Good evening, everyone. How has he finished? The song I want to sing is by Celine Dion called My Heart Will Go On, and I understand that it is significant. Yes. So I hope you enjoy this. It will be off the Every night in my dreams, I see you, I feel you. That is how I know you go on. Far across the distance and spaces between us, you have come to show you go on. Live far, wherever you are. I believe that your heart does.